Ladies and gentlemen, you are where you are today because of the choices you've made in the past, and let me tell you, there's no magic solution to get to where you want to go. People wait for motivation, inspiration, or the perfect moment to start, but that's all bullshit. The truth is, motivation doesn't come. It doesn't arrive on a schedule. You can't rely on it, and you shouldn't wait for it. The real secret to success is forcing yourself to take action no matter what. When you decide to take action, motivation follows, but only if you're willing to do the work first. Stop waiting for motivation. It's time to move. Feelings come and go. Some days you're excited to crush your goals, other days you feel like a failure. But if you wait for every moment to feel right, you'll never make any progress. You have to push yourself every day. You can't rely on emotion to get things done. You need discipline. You need the discipline to get up every day, no matter how you feel, and do what's required of you. You think successful people feel like doing the hard work all the time? Hell no. They do it because they've built the discipline to show up and work, even when they're exhausted, frustrated, or uncertain. Emotion is fleeting, but discipline is what keeps you on track. Now, let's talk about massive action. Small actions don't cut it. You can't expect to get extraordinary results with ordinary effort. You need to commit to massive action, relentless action, every single day. Don't tiptoe around your goals, dive in head first. If you're not putting in the kind of effort that scares you, that makes you uncomfortable, then you're playing small. And let me tell you, there's nothing worse than playing small. You're capable of so much more, but you'll never get there by doing the bare minimum. Push yourself to do more, be more, and achieve more. One of the biggest barriers to success is fear. People are so terrified of failure that they freeze. They make excuses, they procrastinate. They avoid taking action because they're scared of what might happen. Let me tell you, this fear is a liar. Fear will tell you that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that you'll look foolish. But I've got news for you, you will fail. We all do. It's part of the process. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is simple. Successful people take action in spite of their fear. They act, they fail, they learn, and then they act again and again and again and again. Failure is feedback. It's not a reason to stop. If you're not failing, then you're not pushing hard enough. And the key to making all this work is consistency. You've got to show up every day without fail. It's not about doing something great once and sitting back to wait for results. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and pushing through resistance. Consistency is where the magic happens. It's not about one big breakthrough, it's about the small actions you take day in and day out that compound over time to create massive results. Consistency builds momentum. Momentum creates success. And when you commit to that, you'll find that every step forward makes the next one easier. Success isn't something you wait for, it's something you earn, and you earn it by putting in the work consistently. So here's the bottom line: force yourself to take action. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for the right moment or for motivation to strike. Commit to doing the hard work even when you don't feel like it. Build the discipline to act every single day without fail. Push through the fear and embrace failure as part of your journey. And above all, be consistent. If you do this, if you commit to taking action relentlessly, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. So stop making excuses, stop holding back, and start taking massive action today. The life you want is waiting for you, but only if you're willing to take the first step. Let's go. Too many people are stuck in a cycle, waiting for something to push them into action. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect mood, the perfect amount of motivation to come along and get them moving. And let me tell you, waiting for motivation is one of the biggest mistakes you can make in life. Motivation is unreliable. It's fleeting, like a spark that lights up for a moment, but quickly fades away. You cannot build a life on something that's here today and gone tomorrow. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for the sun to rise. Too much time is wasted while you sit around waiting for a feeling to drive you forward. But I'm telling you right now, stop waiting. You don't need motivation. What you need is discipline, focus, and commitment to do the work no matter what. The truth is, action comes first and motivation follows. People who succeed aren't waiting for some magical burst of energy or inspiration to strike them. They take action despite how they feel. They know that if they start, if they just get going, even in the face of uncertainty or resistance, the momentum will build and motivation will catch up. Motivation isn't the starting point, it's the result of consistent effort. It's the natural byproduct of doing the work, not the thing that gets you started. If you want to build something meaningful, you can't wait for the stars to align. You have to act first, and the motivation to keep going will follow. It's like a fire. At first, there's just a spark, but the more you add fuel, the bigger the flame becomes. Stop believing the lie that you need to feel motivated before you do something. You're waiting on the wrong thing. The key is to force yourself into action. The moment you get an idea or goal, take immediate steps toward it. It doesn't matter how small the step is, as long as it's in the right direction. Get out of your head and start putting things into motion. The longer you wait, the more excuses you create. And when you create excuses, you build a wall between you and your potential. There's no reason to wait. There's no reason to sit back and hope motivation will hit you. That's the old way of thinking. The new way is to move regardless of how you feel. Take that first step and you'll find that the energy you need to keep going will show up as you go. When you take action, you're training yourself to be the kind of person who doesn't wait for permission, for a perfect moment, or for motivation to kick in. You become the kind of person who makes things happen. You become the person who takes charge, who gets things done, who understands that success is about showing up every day, no matter the circumstances. And when you start doing that, you realize something incredible. You stop needing motivation because action becomes the thing that drives you. You realize that your own discipline, your own commitment, your own work ethic is more powerful than any external force. You cannot afford to wait for motivation to magically appear before you take the leap. If you're waiting for that, you're wasting time you could be using to create momentum and build the life you want. Motivation is not a requirement for success, it's a bonus. The real requirement is that you decide to take action, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, and even when the path seems unclear. That's where the magic happens. And if you push through, if you consistently show up and do the work, you'll realize that the motivation was with you all along, waiting on the other side of action. Discipline over emotion is one of the most powerful lessons you can learn if you want to succeed. You see, emotions are fickle, they're unpredictable, and they often lead you astray. One moment you feel on top of the world, the next you're doubting your every move. The problem is, if you let your emotions dictate your actions, you'll never get anywhere. You'll find yourself trapped in a cycle of highs and lows, never making real progress because you're constantly reacting to your feelings. But here's the truth: success doesn't come to those who chase after every fleeting emotion. It comes to those who can push through regardless of how they feel. Think about it, every successful person you know has had days when they didn't feel like working. There were days when they were tired, discouraged, or just wanted to give up. But the difference between them and everyone else is simple: they didn't let those feelings control them. They showed up, they worked, they pushed themselves through the discomfort. They chose discipline over emotion. It's easy to think that success will come when you feel inspired, when you're in a good mood, when everything seems to be falling into place. But here's the hard truth: it's never going to feel perfect. If you wait for the right moment to take action, you'll be waiting forever. You'll always find an excuse, whether it's the weather, your mood, or some other reason why today isn't the day to get started. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is what forces you to act even when you don't feel like it. It's what drives you to keep moving forward even when every fiber of your being is telling you to quit. The reality is emotions are temporary. They rise and fall like the tide. Some days you're going to feel like a champion, and other days you'll feel like you failed before you even started. But discipline doesn't care about how you feel. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done no matter what's going on in your head. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and staying committed to your goals, even when the enthusiasm is gone and the excitement fades. And let me tell you, discipline builds momentum. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small, and it doesn't feel like much is happening. But over time, that snowball gathers speed, and it gets bigger and bigger. Every small act of discipline compounds, and before you know it, you're seeing massive results. The days you didn't feel like doing anything, they add up. The moments when you push through the resistance, even when you were tired, discouraged, or uncertain, they make all the difference. When you commit to discipline, you're choosing consistency over convenience. You're choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure. You're choosing to focus on the future rather than getting caught up in the whims of the moment. Discipline means you trust the process, even when it doesn't feel good right now. You understand that the work you do today will pay off tomorrow, even if you can't see the results immediately. The secret to lasting success is learning to embrace discipline as your ally, not emotion. You'll never be successful if you let your feelings control your actions. Success comes when you act in spite of your emotions, when you push through when it's uncomfortable, and when you do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. That's the key to growth. And that's the key to growth. And that's the key to making progress, discipline over emotion every single time. If you want to create the life you desire, you need to understand something fundamental. Massive action is non-negotiable. There is no plan, no strategy, no set of skills that can replace the simple, unyielding principle of massive action. This isn't something you do when you feel like it or when it's convenient. This is the thing that separates those who dream from those who achieve. This is what turns good intentions into concrete results. Without it, everything else is just wishful thinking. People often mistake planning and thinking for action. They think if they map out the perfect strategy, if they gather just a bit more information or wait for the perfect opportunity, they'll be ready to strike. But the truth is, they're wasting time. Planning without execution is a fantasy. It's just mental gymnastics. You're not going to get to where you want to be by sitting around thinking about it. You'll get there by doing, by taking massive action. Massive action isn't about making small adjustments or taking a single step. It's about making big moves. It's about pushing yourself beyond the limits you set for yourself. It's about working harder and longer than you think you can. It's about going all in, even when you don't know exactly how it will work out. It's the willingness to commit everything to the pursuit of your goals. You push past fear, you push past doubt, and you act no matter how difficult or uncomfortable it gets. This isn't the kind of action that leaves you feeling good for a moment but fades away quickly. No, this is the kind of action that changes everything. It builds momentum, it creates results, it forces progress. When you take massive action, you're not waiting for things to happen, you're making them happen. And when you create that momentum, you break through the barriers that have been holding you back for so long. Let me tell you something. There is no perfect time, there is no right moment. The only time that matters is now. If you sit and wait for everything to align, you'll waste years of your life waiting for something that may never come. Your dreams and goals don't have time for your excuses. The world doesn't care about your comfort zone. You've got to take action, massive action, and you've got to do it now. The sooner you take action, the sooner you'll start making real progress. Every day that you do delay, you're losing valuable time. Time that you can't get back. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I'm scared. I don't know where to start. I don't know if I'll succeed, and that's exactly why you need to act. Success isn't guaranteed to anyone, but the one thing that's guaranteed is this: if you don't take action, you will never know what could have been. The fear you're feeling is a sign that you're on the right path. If it's not scary, it's not big enough. Embrace the fear and use it to fuel your action. When you take that first step, no matter how uncertain, you gain clarity, you gain confidence, and you gain experience. That's the magic of massive action. It's not enough to dream or plan. You have to execute. You have to get your hands dirty, face the grind, and give everything you have, even when it feels impossible. Don't let the doubt or the fear of failure stop you. Every failure, every setback is part of the process. It's not a reason to quit, it's a reason to push harder. Massive action will expose your weaknesses and force you to become stronger. It will teach you things that nothing else can. You will learn how to keep going everyone else gives up. You'll learn how to think differently, how to problem solve on the fly, and how to adapt in the face of adversity. The greatest achievers in history weren't necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the most connected. They were the ones who took relentless action. They were the ones who didn't wait for a perfect moment. They were the ones who didn't let fear or uncertainty hold them back. And that's what you need to do. You need to take massive action every single day. You need to get uncomfortable. You need to stop talking about your dreams and start living them. You need to do the work no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes. Massive action is the key to unlocking your potential, to turning your ideas into reality, and to living the life you've always dreamed of. It's the one thing that will separate you from the rest. So stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop overthinking. Start acting. The success you want is waiting for you, but it won't come to you. You've got to go out and grab it. The only thing standing between you and the life you deserve is your willingness to take massive action. The time is now. The choice is yours. Fear of failure is the single most paralyzing force that holds so many people back from reaching their potential. It's not just a mild hesitation, it's a crippling force that makes people freeze, delay, and settle for mediocrity. The worst part about it is that it often disguises itself as rational thought, "I'll fail." So why even try? But here's the truth: failure is not only inevitable, it's essential. It is the foundation upon which success is built. If you are not failing, you are not trying. It's as simple as that. Every successful person you admire, every person who's made it to the top, has failed. In fact, they've failed more times than you could count. The difference between them and you is that they didn't let failure stop them, they used it. They used it as a springboard, a learning experience, a vital lesson on their journey. Failure isn't something to avoid, it's a teacher. And if you're afraid to fail, if you're constantly looking for ways to avoid failure, then you're not growing, you're not pushing your boundaries, and you're not stepping into the greatness you were born for. The reason we fear failure is because of the story we tell ourselves about it. We think failure means we're not good enough, that we're not capable, or that we'll be judged. We believe that failure is a reflection of who we are as individuals, but that's a lie. Failure isn't about you, it's about your current approach. It's about the things you haven't yet learned, the skills you haven't yet developed. It's a sign that you are moving forward, that you are attempting something new, that you are stepping out of your comfort zone. If you are never failing, it means you are playing it safe, staying in the shallow end, and refusing to swim in the deep waters of true achievement. When you fail, you are being taught something invaluable. That failed business venture, it taught you what not to do next time. That failed relationship, it taught you the boundaries you need to set and the values that you want to honor. That failed project, it taught you perseverance and adaptability. Failure provides us with information that success cannot. Every time you fail, you get a little closer to your goal because you now know what doesn't work. The only way you lose in life is if you quit. And quitting doesn't come from failure, it comes from the fear of it. You see, we've all been conditioned to fear failure because we've been taught to equate failure with shame. But if you want to achieve anything of significance, you need to stop being ashamed of failure and start embracing it. Imagine how much you could accomplish if you stopped running from failure and instead ran toward it. If you understood that each failure is a necessary step in your growth. Failure is an event, not a definition of who you are as a person. You fail, you learn, you adjust, you move forward. That's the real formula for success. What would your life look like if you stopped letting the fear of failure dictate your decisions? What could you achieve if you took action despite that voice in your head telling you it won't work? The truth is, most people never reach their full potential because they are terrified of failing, and in doing so, they never take the action necessary to achieve greatness. They allow fear to stop them before they even start. But those who succeed are the ones who understand that failure is not something to fear, it's something to run toward. So I challenge you today, change your relationship with failure. See it for what it really is, an opportunity. You don't fail when you try and fall short, you fail when you don't try at all. The fear of failure will always be there, but so will your capacity to overcome it. It's not about never failing. It's about failing forward, learning from each misstep, and getting back up every single time. If you want to achieve anything great, you have to get comfortable with the discomfort of failure. You have to understand that it's not the end, it's just another step on the road to victory. Fail often, fail fast, and most importantly, fail with purpose, because every time you do, you are one step closer to achieving the greatness that's waiting for you. So go ahead, take that step. The fear of failure doesn't stand a chance against your determination. Let me make this crystal clear: failure is not the enemy. It's the stepping stone to success. The only way you fail in life is by allowing fear to stop you. The more you embrace failure as a lesson, as a necessary part of the process, the more you grow, the more you learn, and the closer you get to your goals. Don't let the fear of failure paralyze you. Let it push you, let it teach you, and let it strengthen you. The world isn't won by the ones who avoid failure, it's won by those who boldly face it, learn from it, and use it to fuel their success. So stop fearing failure, start embracing it, and take massive action. The path to greatness is paved with failures, and if you're not failing, you're not moving forward. It's time to conquer that fear, take action, and build the life you were meant to live. Keep pushing, keep learning, and keep going. You're closer than you think.